Is the Dadless Soul Extra Time live at lunchtime show. We are Chaz and Dave. We are the Gareth Hale and Norman Pace of cutting edge political debate. We are the responsible voice of fatherhood. I am one of your hosts, Dan Flanagan. I'm joined as always by the Granville to my Arkwright, the Nora Batty to my Compo and Clegg, otherwise known as Ilkley's own Jim Coulson.
This is brilliant. I love the fact this is going to be our first introduction to New York radio. And all of those people in the introduction is going to be like a Google fest. So you're going to see Google Trends in the Brooklyn area going, Who's Nora Batty?
Are we allowed to talk about her stockings, or is that a bit too fruity for a lunchtime?
I think we can do that. If you would like to talk about Nora Batty's stockings, you can do that. All you like.
Well, putting people off their sandwiches. This is the Dadless Soul Extra Time show. I don't know why I've suddenly gone back to Sunday evenings circa 1983. But we are here. We are live. And we are with you for the next hour and a bit, going out on LinkedIn, on Twitter or X, YouTube, Mixcloud, and as Jim mentioned, live via Face Radio in Brooklyn, because we are badass DJs now, aren't we?
This is what's happened, right? We started off just two blokes in their offices, and now we are, we're going out in basically one of the coolest places in the world. But enough about Ilkley in West Yorkshire. We're also going out in New York City. So there you are.
As Michael Hutchins said, we are international bright young things.
Yes, exactly. And I always mixed that up with Pretty Young Thing, the Michael Jackson song, and then those two. So, like, someone should be able to do a mashup of international Pretty Young Thing, and it would work. It'd be beautiful. It'd be nice. Not me though. I've not got the music ability or the impetus to actually go and do it. It's just going round in my head, and that's a perfectly fine place for it to be right now.
So, as regular listeners will understand, we have no script whatsoever. This is just 60 minutes of us talking gibberish. For your new listeners out there, which hopefully there might be 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 new people, this is an hour of fatherhood, funk, and foolishness. You don't have to be a dad or male carer to listen. We are very popular with middle-aged women and slightly older women. I hasten to add.
Well, my nanny used to like me, I guess. So, at least as far as I know, she did. I mean,
Did she give you better Christmas presents than she gave your brother, or were you always equal?
Oh, no. The Christmas present from my nana was always the same. It was a £5 note. There you go. We both got a £5 note, and we were grateful for it.
Was that when you were like 5 years old, when a fiver was a lot of money, as opposed to being 25, where a fiver would have got you about a pint?
To be fair to her, consistently £5, no matter what happened with inflation. It was consistently £5. So to be fair, she started very generous.
Yeah.
And towards the end, I mean, it was almost insulting. You're not allowed to say
She just didn't care, did she?
My parents used to have a thing with my nana and granddad, so my dad's parents, where they just hand the money back between each other. They could never be bothered to think of anything that they would both like. So technically, they'd both just give each other like a £20 note or a £10 note or whatever it was.
It's the thought that counts, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And there was very little thought on either party's side. So
it would. I mean, I remember. Oh, sorry. As a kid, I remember getting money from relatives, but what I wanted it in was in ones and twos, because it seemed like a lot more money, and then I'd keep all the ones and twos in like a matchbox or one of those giant matchbox you used to get for the kitchen, and shake it and think, oh, I'm really loaded, even though it'd be maybe a pound or two. Strangely, putting in 1s and 2p coins, I felt rich.
Yeah, I miss having coins come through the post in birthday cards. That was a beautiful thing. And, the clever people would sellotape them to the card so they didn't jaggle around in the envelope and come loose. Because sometimes you'd have one delivered and a little corner of the envelope had been, let's say, damaged by the coin, and the coins were no longer there, if there had been coins there in the first place. And I'm sure that was just from issues in transit and not from anyone taking it out or anything.
Well, it's not like the post office have got a history of defrauding anybody recently, is it?
Exactly. That's how they started. So, nicking children's birthday money was a gateway drug for the Horizon system.
It is. So we are joined, as always, with some great music. We've got some amazing features. Jim, I'm just coming out the end of, or the other side of half term. How was half term for you?
Yeah, really eventful. It was really busy.
Like really offensive.
Really offensive, yeah. Absolutely awful. So it started off with like a birthday trip for me. So the very start of half term, my parents came, shoved the kids with them. They took them away for a few days. They went on a delightful birthday trip to. There's a place called Morecambe. Now, Morecambe might not be somewhere that people in the UK are particularly aware of, but particularly if you're listening in the heart of Brooklyn right now, you might be thinking, Morecambe, I'll look this place up. Don't do it. I mean, seriously, don't. You'll get the bad impression of the break that we had. All right. This was a break that my wife gave me. And Morecambe, shall we say, is a town that is down on its luck and has been for quite a number of years.
Yep.
But it is actually really nice. It's beautiful. That Morecambe Bay is gorgeous. It's like a big, it's a seaside location, but it has this bay where actually you look out and you look across and you see the Lake District across the other side. And that's one of the most gorgeous parts of the United Kingdom after Yorkshire, obviously. And the light was just perfect. The hotel that we stayed at, the reason we went really is because there's this hotel called the Midland Hotel, which is an old Art Deco building. They've filmed Poirot there, and it's a gorgeous building, really nice place. The town, not so great, but my wife does like going through charity shops in order to find stock for her vintage business. So really, she got me this trip for my birthday, and I'm thinking... It might well have been a little...
it's a tax write-off, isn't it?
But there you go, yeah, exactly. Well, we had to stay at this place to get this goods. Yeah, I'll be checking on that, actually.
Yeah. Do you say, is it depressed, like a lot of those northern seaside towns that sort of almost got given a death knell in the late 60s and 70s when families started to go abroad? And there's not really been much investment since then?
Yeah, that's the problem. So it was at one point when the railways came, it was really popular because there are all these industrial towns across the north, like Bradford, which is near where I live, Leeds, Liverpool, Burnley, all these sort of places where there was heavy industry. People had worked there, and what they used to do, rather than kind of manage time off and manage cover and things like that, they used to go, right, the week you're having off is whatever week in August. We're all having it off. They were called Wakes Weeks. And everyone got on the train and they went to the destination. So there'd be a load of trains going to Morecambe, a load of trains going to Blackpool, a load of trains going out to Scarborough on the other coast. And so these places knew that they had all of these things. And the Wakes Weeks were different in different towns, so that they knew that they had like a week of people coming from Burnley, a week of people coming from Bradford. And, there was a lot of prosperity because they brought all the wages and they were there for the week, and they obviously didn't have a car to get out of town. So they were there in the town, spending the money, buying the ice creams and having a great time. And Morecambe really grew up, and it's one of these many, many towns that became really, really rich. And as you say, then we've found ways to get abroad for cheap, and people went abroad, and Morecambe went, wait, I'm still here. Do you want to come back? Do you want to, please, can you come back? And
isn't that kind of disturbing? Just thinking about it, you're with this entire town every day of your life. Then we're all going on holiday together, right? That's the people from the church, that's the people from the office, the people from the factory, the people from the social club, and all of the kids' schools. We're all getting on the train together to go on holiday together.
I know, and everyone knows the best thing about being on holiday is getting away from people that you know, right?
Go and meet some new people, some new faces, have some, some different ranges of cultures and conversations, and so there's absolutely none of that. They small-minded fools.
Well, it was a couple of years ago. We went to Crete for a holiday, and we had to get a taxi at about like 5 a.m. or something. We just live like a couple of miles away from the airport, and it was a really early flight. So we got up and we were standing in the road waiting for the taxi with all our bags, and just at the same time, the family opposite came out with all of their bags as well. And we're like, "Hi, how you doing?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, you off away? Yeah, we are. Where are you going? Crete? Oh, so are we. Oh, you're getting the 8 o'clock? Yeah, we're getting the 8 o'clock. Oh, God." And it's like, they're lovely. They're really nice. But I don't want to be reminded of being at home when I'm on holiday. I want to be
They weren't
there.
in the same hotel, were they?
Thankfully, no, they weren't. That would have been freaky, wouldn't it?
That's awkward as well, because you're going to have to like spend time with them. I don't want to. They're perfectly lovely people, but no, go away.
Yeah, please leave us alone. This is about getting away from it, not sitting opposite the people that I sit opposite in fact, my office window points out onto their house. So
that's probably why they're leaving.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
That weird bloke staring through the window again.
I do sometimes wonder that. Sometimes there's a beautiful view beyond them. There's the moor above our village, and you quite often get a really beautiful sunset over it. And so sometimes I'm sitting here working, distracted by the view, and I think I'll just take a picture of this. And I get my camera and I'm standing there in the window taking a picture, and I'm thinking, do they think I'm trying to take a picture of them through their window?
It's either their bathroom window or their bedroom window. I don't know what's worse.
Yeah. And also, the thing is, we all know that if you take a picture of a beautiful sunset on your phone, it looks nothing like it. And it's just absolutely pointless.
But there is going to be, at least you'll have sunset, videos there when the police come knocking. Look, this is evidence. I'm not actually one of those like Netflix stalkers.
Yeah, there was
just like sunsets, Your Honour.
Well, I can't see any beautiful sunset on this phone. It just looks slightly red in the sky. Yeah, because that's a mobile phone. We always make the same mistake. Everyone does. It's not my
just
fault.
Some of these net curtains.
Yeah, it's usually, to be fair, they've got a very big shaggy dog that stands up in one of the top floor windows and looks out. And not that I've spent time analysing what
this
goes
just
on.
Gets worse.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Let's move on. What's your half term been? What's the last week been like for you?
It's been lovely because I've been off. So I went down to visit my new grand nephews, as I mentioned in the last show. Only got to meet one of them. One of them was a bit grouchy, so his mum couldn't come out to play. But I got to meet Baby George, or Gorgeous George, so called, and he just slept on my big fat belly. That's all he wanted to do, was just kip. And it's like, you're a bit boring, but you smell really nice, because he still had that newborn baby smell, which is weird, because I just wanted to breathe it deeply in.
I mean, you talk about me being odd, but you're wanting to sniff a baby. It's
that baby is related to me. I haven't just walked up to a stranger and gone, "Can I sniff your newborn, please?"
Wow. Okay.
Well, I would if I could get away with it without ending up on a register somewhere.
Yeah, let's not normalise that. I was going to say maybe we should, but let's not. No.
Sniffing babies anonymous. I did that, and then I went to Edinburgh for the weekend, and it's beautiful. Absolutely. Hadn't been there for 25 years. Beautiful, amazing bookshop. They had this, it was almost like a 3-story townhouse that was a bookshop. So every space that you went into, every door, every cupboard was a bookshop. And it was open from 9 till 9, 7 days a week.
Nice.
But it was lovely. I walked 10 miles the first day, walked 10 miles the next day, absolutely crippled myself because my shoes weren't set up for walking.
And it's all uphill as well in Edinburgh, isn't it?
It is all uphill. And if, like the rest of the world, if you've been watching One Day, the new dramatisation on Netflix, that's obviously based in Edinburgh. So we're like, oh, should we go up to Arthur's Seat and be romantic? No, that's quite far. Let's not. Let's just think about going up there, hold that bit of romance and disappear. And then we got delayed on the way back with the trains. And the worst thing is coming back from holiday, you start to get that dread. And I just knew my inbox would be creaking. So it's okay to go and have time off and, refresh yourself. But come back, you're going to have shed loads of work. And this morning was my first day back. And I just had a sense of overwhelm for the first couple of hours. I just want to go away again, not sort out this stuff. So it was so lovely to escape, but a pain in the bum to come home again.
Yeah, you see, because there's no good alternative, is there? Because the alternative is I'll spend half an hour every day just going through the emails, deleting everything, so I'm ready when I get back. But then you don't, because you'll spot something, you'll go, oh, I'm going to have to spend the morning doing this. You go up Arthur's seat on your own. I'll stay here.
But that's also you're giving yourself. You're thinking, because I'll get some level of payoff where it won't be so horrible in the future. But unless you learn to turn off or switch off completely, you never get that full rest. And it's weird because that's probably the first time I've been away that I haven't taken a laptop.
Right. Okay.
So it's like I've just not, even though, we watch a movie or something like that, just no. And I've been reading this excellent book, Show It for the Radio Kids. It's called the Getting Things Done book. Can't see that. But it's got some really interesting hints about, being bored.
Right.
As well, because if I go to the loo or I'm going anywhere, I'll make sure I've got my phone so I can just check in on things. And actually, no, just go and be okay with just stepping away. Because it gives basically more energy when you come back rather than being constantly switched on.
So it's like a break for your brain. That's
Absolutely.
a good idea. Yeah, I can see that because we do have that tendency, especially now, because we've got, the world of the internet in our pockets. We do have that, like, I've got some time where I need to wait or do something, phone out. And you spot it everywhere, don't you? Like, the old classic was outside the changing rooms in women's clothes stores on a Saturday
This is
afternoon.
getting dodgy from the man that just looks through their neighbour's windows with a phone. Yeah, I'm waiting outside women's changing rooms with my phone, Your Honour.
Let me finish.
Okay,
like a politician's answer, I've let you talk, now you let me finish, please. No, when you go in with your other half, and I don't want it to be like, battle of the sexes, but they go in, they try on some clothes, and then in the 80s and 90s, not that I had a wife in the 1980s because I was 11 by the end of it, never even kissed a girl. But you just had to stand there and just be bored. There was nothing to do. You were just there, bored, waiting. And there were about, at least, depending on the shop you went into, about 10 other men all doing the same thing, just going, when will this end? But now you go there and I'm looking at some things. I'm checking my Facebook notifications. Or the football results or whatever. And it doesn't, you don't ever give your brain that time to shut off. And I did see, there's a meme that goes around every so often and it says creative people need to have time to be bored. And I'm like, maybe I am stunting my creativity by never being bored because I'm always looking at Reddit or something with some irrelevant nonsense.
It was weird. I was at the, just before I went away, I was taking all the stuff down to the laundrette to dry because obviously it's been pouring down with rain and I can't put it outside. And I panicked and I realised I hadn't had my phone. I thought, no, I'm going to have to sit here and just watch the washing. And I ended up getting in a really lovely conversation with a little old lady. And I know, had I had my headphones and my phone, I would have been straight on there being really antisocial. But it said, I got a little bit bored, not bored, because I met a new friend. And I think, but I do remember loading up stuff and sugar. I haven't got my headphones on my phone. What am I going to do? Have I got time to go home, get them, and come back? And it's 15 minutes, but I couldn't wait that 15 minutes without panicking.
No, of course not. I like it sometimes. Now, when I run, I do like to listen to a podcast. I do like to keep my brain entertained so that it's not thinking about the pain in my legs. But actually, there are some times maybe when my headphones run out of battery or when I can't get any internet to download something, that actually it's quite nice to run and not have anything other than just what's there to be a stimulus for you. And sometimes it's
like
nice
next door's windows,
which is the biggest stimulus, obviously. And now I know when they like to go on holiday. So, but yeah, so sometimes it is nice to have that. And I do actually find myself often sort of thinking through challenges that I have or thinking through things that I want to do and coming up with solutions because I've not, got some people talking in my ears. I don't know if really should be doing down the idea of listening to podcasts, though, seeing as
while we're on a podcast,
recording one right now. Yeah.
Awkward. And we are live. So if you want to take part and let us know what you do to avoid, this is like, why don't you, isn't it? Why don't you switch off your telly and do something more interesting instead, rather than watching a bunch of kids on TV? So how ironic is that? Another reference for the Brooklyn kids there.
Yeah, so we do this live on a Tuesday lunchtime. We record it, and this is for people on the Dad Soul social media channels. Then it comes out as a podcast wherever you get your good podcasts, and it is going to go out on the radio in Brooklyn as well, on the Face Radio. It's basically, we're just trying to conquer every single media that there is.
Greedy, yeah. I think the word is. Should we have a little musical interlude?
Yeah, let's do that. Go on then. What do you fancy, or do you want one of my songs?
Or let's do... Can we have Do Nothing?
Yes, of course we can. Because actually, that's kind of fitting based around what we were talking about, right?
Isn't it? So this is Do Nothing by the Wonderful Specials.
My own
So what that was, Do Nothing by the Specials. I don't know if you've seen it, Jim, but the film Empire of the Light.
No, I don't. No.
Olivia Colman film came out a couple of years ago about a lady that lives down in Margate in the 70s, and it's got a beautiful old cinema. Anyway, I was reintroduced to Do Nothing by the Specials by that film, which is beautiful. Do go and watch it. But it reminds me, Olivia Colman, the main actress, has got a new film coming out called Wicked Little Letters. And part of it was filmed about 2 minutes away from where I'm sitting now.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's about a scandal that happened about 100 years ago where a village was taken over by somebody putting out really, really obnoxious and offensive sweary letters. It's a comedy. But now I would tell you some of the things that were written, but as we're going out on Face Radio, we're not allowed to swear anymore because otherwise it's a $50 fine.
I'm not paying that. I'm not paying that.
No. So we're just not. It's like a proper swear jar, that isn't it?
It is, isn't it? There's a significant swear jar. Blimey.
So the Olivia Colman film, Wicked Little Letters, I think comes out next week. Go and watch it because it looks really, really funny. And I do remember it was being filmed probably a couple of years ago down the end of my road, which is on the beach. And I sort of looked round there and I was hovering around to see if they did need a good looking, front man to be maybe Olivia Colman's love interest. Just there. But everybody had sort of really gone home by the time I got down there. Who knows what could happen? I could have been a movie star.
You could have been. Yeah, you could have just been walking in and they're going, we need you. You're the right person.
We need a plump, balding ginger fella.
They used to film DCI Banks, it's like a detective series. They used to film it in sort of the towns and villages near here. And there's a couple of times when I'd be, walking around and they'd be cordoned off an area so they could film that. But I never got into that as well. We were. Who
was DCI Banks? Who was the main characters?
Stephen Tompkinson played DCI Banks. And yeah, it was good. It was like a good old, just like I've read the books and the books are pretty good as well, but it's, it's pretty standard. Crime happens. You're going all over the place. Who knows what's going to happen? A little twist at the end. There we go. Found the killer. And, I like that. There's something quite comforting about that, about being able to shut off and just relax into that, like a Midsummer Murders, which is one of the most sort of relaxing experiences, considering it's mainly about murdering in rural communities. But there's just something very it's like a little warm blanket around you. The murder happens, there's lots of suspects, the policeman comes along and he doesn't know, and then he does know, but then he doesn't know, and then woof, twist, and we've got the killer. And it's just something nice about that, especially over 2 hours, that you could get really lost in it.
Yeah, it's really nice about murder, about family losing a member of their kin. Yeah.
No, I actually think it's very nice to see the police working in a way that we know that they can do, despite the bad publicity they maybe have from time to time.
I've got an old mate of mine, Gabriel. He's actually a viewer / listener of the show. He's what you call a supporting artiste. He's an extra on lots of TV shows. And he sends me these random photos of him in costumes. He's been in Wolf Hall. He's been in the reboot of Riders, the Jilly Cooper thing with Danny Dyer. Because I can't wait to see Danny Dyer doing a Jilly Cooper book.
Wow.
Based in the I think it's the 70s or the 80s. And he's also in a program called Industry, which is about bright young things working in the cities in the banking trade. And he sent me one of the photos, and he looks like a Tory sex offender in this image. I was like, what was the brief they put out for this character?
And are you happy that they chose you? Yeah.
He just looks really. He's got to be a straight, like board member of a senior Banks who's got glasses and a nice suit and he's cleanly shaven. And he's normally quite a good-looking boy, is our Gab. But yeah, this one's like not doing you any justice in this, mate. You just look like something that would have ended up in the news of the world.
It's like a nice varied job, though, that, isn't it? You know, you don't know whether you're going to be like a barbarian or a banker or, unemployed for about 3 or 4 weeks. Have I ever told you about the time that I was on a part of Spamalot the musical?
No. Ooh. Go on.
Well, it's less impressive than it sounds. When they go to different towns, what they have is quite clever that they do this. And I imagine a lot of these things do the same thing. They have a part in it specifically for someone who's like a local, vaguely well-known person. So like a radio presenter. So when I was a radio presenter over sort of east, sort of Hull, Grimsby area, Spamalot, the musical, was coming to Grimsby. And so they get in contact a few weeks before and they just say, would you like your breakfast show presenter to have a little part in the musical? And it's a great way of them not having to pay for advertising, but getting lots of free advertising, it's just genius. Because, normally our sales team would have been all over that going, actually, we're going to charge you all this. But, because it was a content thing, we were talking about it for free. And it was really good. You go in and they give you this instruction. And basically there's a scene where they're assembling the knights who are going to be there. And it's like, assemble Knight Galahad, Knight whoever. And then at the end of it, it's Knight not appearing, or Sir not appearing in this show tonight. And it's me coming on at the end going, oh, sorry. And then you walk back off. And that was the whole thing. But I had to get dressed up in this knight costume with these like big pointy shoes.
Yeah.
I took about an hour to get dressed. I was on stage for 10 seconds and that was it. And then I had to just go off stage, get undressed. And that was the end of that, really.
That was a hell of a night, wasn't it?
I did. Hey, very good. See what you've done. Nice.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say you could have been Michael Knight, but a different sort of kit.
I should have tried. You're on form today, huh?
I've had a lot of coffee.
You've had a week off. Everyone can tell.
Yeah. A lot of references again for loads of people that weren't born, after the year 2000.
Well, here's another one. Starring in the performance that night was Bonnie Langford. So I got to meet Bonnie Langford, the singer.
Was she Bonnie?
She was very pleasant. However, what we'd done is we'd got some tickets and we'd taken a load of listeners with us to go and see it. And my co-host was sort of in charge of them and obviously got them all to like shout when I did my line, which was kind of nice. And then at the end of it, they all got to come backstage and meet the actors. And it was really nice. And I kind of was there. And Bonnie Langford came in and she just went, Tom, well done. You did a great job. And I was like, oh, it's Jim. And then just had these lot of 10 listeners and my co-host rip the mick out of me for pretty much the next sort of month because of Bonnie Langford getting my name wrong.
Tom Lasoul. I think it's got a ring.
Yeah. Well, maybe I should have just changed it and then the last laugh would have been on everyone else, wouldn't it?
Or you could have just punched her in the face.
Probably not the sort of publicity everyone was looking for there.
What was the radio station called?
The radio station was called Viking FM. You
could have acted like a Viking.
Yeah, I mean, thinking back, probably could have done that. Done something a bit more in keeping with the character, but I just
invaded her privacy.
As I did with everything in my life, I just did as I was told. That was that.
A little bit of my heart just broke when you said that. Everything in my life.
Just did as I was told.
Here lays Jim or Tom.
Depending who you're talking to.
Reliable Tom.
Yeah. He just did as he was told.
It's, what I was going to say, we got some other things coming up. Randomly, just thinking about this. Do you want to go? Should we do our Ask Alex section, or should we look at our topic of the day? This is obviously, boys and girls at home.
Let's do let's do the topic of the day. I'm interested to get this one, and then we can do that. Also, I've got a celebrating and a struggling with as well for a little bit later on.
This would be helpful. So the topic of today, there's a piece in today's iPaper by a writer, a lovely guy called Mike Rampton. They got forwarded over to me this morning by a friend of the show, Max Dickens, who did a really interesting book on male loneliness. And the title of the piece is "I Feel Selfish Seeing My Friends," and it's about the rise of the lonely dad. And it talks about, obviously, as we do on Dad Lassalle, the loneliness as you get to middle age, but also potentially the guilt you can have by making time to see your friends, because you should be giving your whole to your family or your work as a provider. So it's kind of, I was really struck by that because it was something that it really resonated with me. Not so much now, as my son's a lot older and he's a lot more sort of self-reliant, but when he was really young, the idea of making time for myself just felt really, really self-indulgent. And I wondered how that sat with you, because obviously your two lovely starlets are a bit younger. So how do you balance, working and the commitments and Jill's commitments and all the sports and the extracurricular activities with making some time for Jim or Tom?
Or Tom, whoever I am nowadays.
Tonight, Matthew.
Yeah. The headline, that is it. The headline, that headline really kind of spoke to me, because currently I am weighing up whether I'm going to spend 4 days in Abu Dhabi at some point soon. Because my best mate moved over to Abu Dhabi last year, and it would be nice to go and see him. And it's a slightly less convenient than Croydon, which is where he was living before. That was a lot easier. And the thing that's stopping me, the only thing that's stopping me is that guilt, is that's a long time, because actually, there's a lot of traveling either side. I've been gone a good 5 days. That is a long time to leave Jill and the kids to do their own thing, especially because she works a lot of weekends. So I imagine it'd go over a weekend, because that's when he's sort of free as well. And there are many, many commitments. So they both do football training at different times at different venues on a Saturday. If I was thinking of going Thursday, but then they have different clubs at the same time on a Thursday night. Then there's, getting them ready for school. Then my son's got football game on the Sunday, and there's all the other stuff. And it is I do feel really guilty about that. Just going, see you later. I'm off to the sunshine for a little bit. I'm going on a plane and spending 600 quid to get there or whatever. And that's not even the issue. The money's not the issue, because I've got the money. I have the money. I've managed to save that money. So that's absolutely fine. But the one thing that's stopping me pressing that button and buying it is just that guilt of going, oh God, I shouldn't be doing this. And it's ridiculous when I think about it, because Jill's going, go, have a good time, go and enjoy it. And she wants to go away for a few days in August. And I'm like, yeah, brilliant. Definitely do that. You should go and do that. And I really encourage her to do that. And she does sort of roller derby and things. That's a couple of days a week where she's out of the house. And that's, something that I'd encourage. But for me, I'm just thinking, oh yeah, I don't do very much for myself. I should do. But it just feels a bit it feels like I shouldn't be for some reason.
It's a tricky one, because immediately you said, if Jill had suggested it, you'd be fine. Go away. Don't go away. Go away. But how do you give yourself the same sort of get out of town card? Actually, there is another question I want to ask. What's the difference between Dubai and Abu Dhabi?
I do not know.
The people in Dubai don't like the Flintstones, but the people in Abu Dhabi do.
Very good. Very good. Very good.
Sorry, we were getting serious. Yeah, but it is weird, isn't it? It's that guilt. And you say, like I say, it's not the money, it's a week, but also, well, this will be, it's not like you're doing this every, once a fortnight and going away.
No.
Actually, you are a very, hands-on and loving partner and father and provider. So to have a week off in 10 years isn't really a big deal, is it?
No, it's not. It's not, and it's interesting because the only other time that I've been away for any sort of extended amount of time, I've been away for a couple of nights on my own, and I went and climbed Ben Nevis for a couple of days, and in one day, but we were away for 2.5 days, and and I've done stuff like that. I think also I've been away for a week before, actually to the Middle East as well, but that was a work thing. That was the biggest blag I've ever had. Someone went, "Do you want quite a lot of money to go, all expenses paid, to Dubai and just film some nonsense in a theme park?" And the answer was yes, I really, really do that. And it was brilliant, to be fair. It was a real blag.
Yeah.
But that felt sort of okay because it was work, and it was quite
a justification there.
There was a justification there. And really, there's a justification here. He's my best mate. He was my best man. I've known him since I was 16, and that's at least 3 years ago.
Isn't it? Well, the argument would be, though, right? This is really morbid, but none of us are getting any younger, right? Just something could happen to take that opportunity away permanently.
Yes, yeah. That's I really do need to think about that. I really do.
And it is that one time, and it is the idea of, it gets a bit cliche, but life's for living and memories are there to be made. But there absolutely are. There's always loads of reasons not to do something. You're too tired, or the kids, or money, or, whatever. And this stuff, and it holds you back. And actually, sometimes you just need to press that button and go, it's a week. Right? Big thing, kids probably are not going to miss me. Your partner's absolutely, happy with it. And also it might even make her feel less guilty when the time that she wants to go away as well. So I'd say, go do it. Have a wonderful time. Don't get arrested.
No, try not to. Yeah.
That would only be, or at least have a decent amount of bail money set aside. So for when you do go. That
would be guilt-inducing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of it, judging by this, referring back to the article, it's just making time for yourself, or even the idea of, something, yours is quite extreme to go abroad for, like a week, but having a regular, night out. So with Dad the Soul, for example, we suggest that it's one Thursday a month for 3 hours to come and be yourself. But a lot of the fellas there still feel really guilty about it. And we shouldn't, because there's that line where it's almost like if the plane crashes, you need to put on your oxygen mask first. So you've got the strength to go and look after everybody else. Yeah. So we're going to have somewhere that you can vent and relax and, recharge. You'll actually end up coming back and being a better husband, partner, father for the people around you as well.
Yeah, and that's it. Is as you say, if you're never there, that's an issue. If you have some time for yourself, that's only a positive, isn't it? That's only a positive thing. I was talking last time we did this podcast about football. We've started this football thing with the dads from my son's football team. And that's the thing, because I don't think I've done a regular thing out of the house. And this is like a weekly game. And it's nice. And it's only an hour of football, and it's only like 20 minutes down the road. So it's not even a long time out of the house. But yeah, it's a benefit to get out, just have that relationship with the other dads that you don't necessarily get on the school run, where I was talking to one of them this morning, and then we both had to go off in different directions, so it was a bit like a conversation that just finished in the middle. But you get more of that. The only reason it's going to finish in the middle when playing football is because we're out of breath, because we're all in our 40s now.
Yes.
But it's it is important, and the football thing's helping me sort of get my head around that a little bit. And then it's like, yes, well, this is something that I need to do. And hopefully, like, what happens usually when I go away somewhere is that one of the kids starts teething or is sick or something like that. It just always seems to happen. But hopefully that won't happen this time, because they're just that bit older, and so hopefully it should be fine. So
can we help, and the boys and girls at home help with this dilemma and give you a level of accountability?
Yes.
So what needs to happen for you to push the button on this?
Well, the good thing is there is a time limit as well, because if it gets much later than April, then it's going to be too hot to go and do anything. So I've got that time level. So I tell you what, check in with me at the start of March once my invoices have been paid, and we'll make sure, because then it'll make me feel less guilty once I've had a bit more money in. Even though, I've got the money now, but then, it just gives me that extra buffer. Check in with me then and see whether I've booked it. And I will give you the flight number, not necessarily the booking reference.
Well, that'll be the next show, basically. That will already be in the beginning of March, the next show.
Yes, it will. Yeah, so by the next show. Okay, then. That makes sense to me. Let's do that.
Is there anything else, we can encourage you to do? Take up gambling, drugs, anything else you're sort of teetering on that you need some really weird peer pressure to push you in the way? Yeah. Desert your family for at least a week, Jim. Go.
Do it. They don't need you. You're useless anyway. Could be. Who knows?
We wouldn't do that. We love you. We want to support you, but it's good to have that accountability and say, life absolutely is for living. You have a wonderful time, make some adventures, and actually you come back feeling probably full of gratitude that you've been able to do it as well. Go, you know what? It's nice to be able to step away knowing that the home fires are kept warm and loved and stuff like that. I'm a very lucky boy. What can I do to invest more?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. That does make sense to me, for sure.
Yeah. Shall we look at we've solved your problem. Should we solve some other problems for other people?
Why not? Let's do that. Yeah.
Problem solvers. New problem solvers. This is a really bad thought out jingle.
Good. I like it. Problem
nice. Solvers. It's a bit like That's Life.
Pow, pow, pow. Yeah, it needs some production, but I think it's there. I think we're almost there.
It does not need production. Who says we've got time resources or budget for that?
No,
we need nothing. So for the regular listeners, we have all the attendees, should we say, in Jim's other show, The Sessions. We have the lovely Dr. Alex, who is a GP and a conflict resolution expert, who actively volunteers his time to helping out the dads, basically. But because we don't like asking for help as men, we still got that shame and that guilt, and we're putting your hand up going, I don't understand this, or I need help with this. But Dr. Alex is there. So we did a bit of scouting and we asked the audience for a particular problem. Is that correct about parenting?
Yeah, so we just wanted to know if anyone had any issues that they were going through that Alex could help them out with. So what we'll do is we'll read out one of the questions. We'll give our point of view. You can have a think about what your point of view is. And then we'll play you the actual answer that Alex gave. And he's brilliant, is Alex. He really does know what he's talking about.
No pressure, is there? We'll give you the correct answer and then you can just see how massively wrong you were.
Yeah, but then that helps you reinvigorate your thinking in the future, right?
Or feel terrible that you were so wide of the mark.
Possibly. So this is the issue sent in by a dad. We're often finding it difficult to manage conflicts between our two children, aged 8 and 11. They've got very different interests and personalities, leading to frequent arguments and disruptions at home. What can we do?
I think you could invoke the power of gladiators and set them on each other. You know, it could be this, doesn't have to be an age thing. The small one could be small, fight dirty and brutal.
Sometimes the smaller ones are better. Like in Duel, where they're knocking each other with the big earbuds. That if they get down and hit the gladiator's legs, then that could knock the gladiator down. Yeah, it's not about size; it's about cunning.
Alternatively, you could always side with the child that is your favourite, because come on, let's be honest, there is always one that is nice, and the other one's a bit of an afterthought. You know, that won't cause no issues in the future, will it?
No, of course not. No.
Mother never loved me. Father ignored me. How would you handle it? Because you've got two, and they're different age ranges, and both strong characters.
Yeah, I think the idea is what I quite like to do is to get them to sort of acknowledge how they would feel if what they had done to the other one was done to them. And they're quite good. They are quite empathetic like that. So it's more a case of just talking about it, just like take the heat out of the situation, not running into it, not going, stop it. You know, just going, look, okay, I know you just messing around because, you know, it's how brothers and sisters are. That's what goes on. But let's have a think about it. Come on, if you really think about it, if that had happened to you, how would you have felt? No, exactly. What do you say to each other? Sorry. Okay. High five. Let's go. I mean,
and in reality, how does that work?
Well, what I was going to say is, you know, on those adverts for mobile phones where it says sequence has been shortened for this advert, that sequence has been very shortened. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You know, that's the thing, especially when you get into, and we know this from being grown-ups as well, we still do this. If we get into a situation, if you get really wound up about something, if you're complaining about something, and you know you on maybe on the phone to customer services, or you something's gone wrong, and then someone points out, actually, you're not quite right about that, and that's not a kind way to talk to people. It's very difficult to suddenly just go, oh yeah, okay, I apologize about that. You do tend to sometimes double down on the wrong, and it's not a good thing. We shouldn't do it, but we do. And that's why when kids do it, it's, you know, I kind of at that point would be going, look, why don't you go and do that thing over there, and you go and do that thing in a very different place over there, and then maybe we'll all come back and be friendly together a little bit later on.
Or we can fight it out.
Yeah, or
knuckle
just
dusters,
bottles,
house bricks. There's something going back to that little book I mentioned earlier, the Getting Things Done book. It said a nice way to approach these sort of issues. And let me think about this clearly. It said it's better to say thank you than I'm sorry and apologise. So, if we're having an argument and I say I'm sorry, I was wrong, that evokes one level of feelings. But if I say, well, thank you, Jim, for allowing me the space to come to my own opinions on this, by me saying thank you, evokes a more positive feeling in you.
That's really interesting, actually, because this morning, one of the bugbears that I have is at the bottom of our road, there's a nursery, and it's on the sort of main road through our village. And parents dropping off their kids at nursery at the time I'm taking the kids to school will often be running late, and they'll park on double yellow lines, which are right on the corner, which makes it very difficult to see round for cars coming out of our road onto the main road, as well as for us taking kids to school, as well as for other parents bringing kids to that nursery. It's really dangerous. It's a dangerous thing to do. I know you're running late. Sometimes you do that. You don't think about the consequences of you being on the double yellow lines for everyone else. And someone did it today. And today I was in a mood to just say, and I was very purposeful not to be rude about it and not to be accusative. But there was a dad getting his kid out. They were on these double yellow lines, shouldn't be stopping there. It was very difficult for me to get my son across the road. So I just said, look, I'm really sorry, but parking on those lines, that makes it more difficult for everyone to cross the road and to see what's going on. It's just a bit dangerous. And the bloke turned around to me and he said that. He said, oh, thanks for letting me know. Thank you. And he seemed genuine about it. It wasn't like sarcastic or anything.
It sounded a bit thanks, yeah.
Yeah. But rather than having gone, oh, I'm sorry, I won't do it again, he did that. He went, oh, thank you. And actually, I went away thinking, okay, I think he's understood, and we managed to deal with that like adults, even though I was basically telling him that he was irresponsible. But I didn't do that in so many words, and he didn't react in so many words. He reacted
But
with
he could
that.
have gone the other way, couldn't he? He could have just clashed heads.
Yeah, we could have done. And I really didn't want to, because it's the end of my road and I will see him again. So
you're the bloke that looks out that window all the time, aren't you?
Yeah, we've been writing about you on the Facebook page for the village. And yeah, I'd not really thought about his response being thank you instead of I'm sorry. But I guess for him, I guess he understands inside himself that what he's done, actually, he wouldn't like someone else to have done. But rather than invoking that set of emotions, as you say, the sorry and the shame, he invokes the more positive, proactive thank you. I'll take that on board. Next time I'll do something different. And I guess that's the way he thinks, and that's probably quite a positive way to think, isn't it?
It really is. Every day's a school day with us, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Blimey.
So Tom,
thanks, Bonnie.
I look a bit like Bonnie. I was going to say Bonnie Tyler. I don't look like Bonnie Tyler.
That's your bright eyes.
Your bright eyes. It's a total eclipse of my knees.
It
was in. Should we see what Uncle Alex says?
I forgot all about that. Yeah, let's do it. This is what Alex.
We know everything.
Yeah. We don't need the experts. We've had enough of experts, says Michael Gove. Right, have a listen to this.
Ages are interesting here. I'm guessing the 11-year-old has just started secondary school, and the 8-year-old is probably still at primary. And that is a big, big jump. It's a huge jump. It's a huge change. The first thing I'll say is please be reassured. It will get easier. Yeah. I've mentioned them in the past. I've got 3 kids. They're now 18, 16 and 14. When they were probably 12, 10 and 8, so roughly this sort of age, absolute nightmare. Complete disaster zone, World War III, nearly every day. These days, much better, much easier. And so half of me says to this dad, just bide your time. It will get easier, because it does genuinely get easier. The challenges are still there, but they're just different. But they don't tend to be at each other in quite the same way. However, my honest answer to how to deal with it now is probably don't try and make them be together, make them work together, make them play together. It simply won't work. You are just making a rod for your own back, except that they are going to have 2 separate different lives. They are going to argue, accept that, and just learn to have to manage that, I'm afraid. I know that's almost like a negative way of dealing with it, but actually you can't force 2 people together who don't want to be together. Yeah. And that's true at any stage in life, but rest assured, they will start to see more eye to eye and get better, probably when the younger one gets towards secondary school.
So there you go.
Wow,
that was the answer.
I was not expecting that.
No, but that's what I love about Alex, is that it's not some mythical answer that can only happen in a state of perfection in which none of us live. It's like a practical solution to a real problem.
Nothing's going to change, mate. That's essentially what he said. You just, I was going to say, you were naughty word, but then I realised we cannot swear because of those restrictions that our cousins across the pond have put in place. Isn't that a good lesson to learn, that I can say something and stop saying the naughty word?
I mean, that's parenting, isn't it? It's like the first few years of parenting.
Fiddlesticks.
Flumps is my go-to fake swear word. Oh, flumps.
Did you ever lie to your kids and make up a swear word? Shall I tell you what the really, really worst swear word that could ever be? Don't ever let me hear you say it. And I do it with my son, and I'd make up absolute gibberish. Really, is that the worst swear word? Yeah.
Oh, that is genius. My kids are at the age where they're just obsessed with knowing swear words. So I will possibly be dropping one of those in at some point.
I'll possibly dropping the C word regularly.
Hopefully not.
Cantankerous.
hoping to get a fake swear word go viral at school. That will be my life's best achievement, probably.
Yeah, but then they'll find out that it's wrong, and then they'll be bullied.
Except they won't know. Like, what if everyone else is too unsure to go, oh gosh, maybe it is one. I've not heard of it. Maybe I don't want to look like I don't know swear words. Maybe gubumba bum bum is the worst swear
They've
word.
got the internet, Jim.
Oh, they have. Yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. It's not 1988 anymore, is
No,
it?
it's
Damn
not.
it!
Yeah, that they've got pre-programmed Chat GPT into their brains already. Go, look, is my dad talking Codswallop? Yes, it is.
Well, the answer's always yes. So that's not even
it is.
not even a debate.
This has been the Dad the Soul Extra Time Live at Lunchtime show. I hope, I do hope actually, we might have lightened up your lunch hour with some topical conversation, some cutting edge comedy, and a few great tunes. Actually, talking about tunes, we haven't had your tune, have we?
No,
Tunes.
we haven't. So very briefly, the reason that I've chosen this is because when we were on my little birthday break, after we'd been to Morecambe, we went to a place called Clitheroe. And the idea of there was that there was a Northern Soul all day happening. And by all day, I mean like 3 till 8 in the afternoon. So not
Perfect.
like literally all night, but yeah. And it was the most life affirming thing I have ever been to. We were the youngest there by 20 years, right? It was people in their 60s and 70s getting on that floor, really enjoying themselves. Like that, obviously they'd all been on the scene, the Northern Soul scene back in the day. And they were reliving that, and they relive it every month, every couple of months at this venue in Clitheroe. And it was just brilliant to watch. Everyone was really friendly. Everyone was dancing. Like this woman.
Were they welcoming to you as young people?
Really welcoming, really rich, just really nice. And this, one woman was on the floor literally from 3 till 8. She was there 5 hours dancing away, and she must have been in her mid-70s. And I just have to take my hat off to her, because I could do about maybe 20 minutes in a row of Northern Soul dance. It was quite energetic. Then I have to go and have another little sit down and drink. But these people, like this bloke dressed immaculately in a suit doing his high kicks. Oh my goodness. It was one of the best experiences of my life. It was absolutely brilliant. So as a result, I want to play Dobie Gray's Out on the Floor, because I thought that'd be a nice sort of tribute to the Northern Soul night that I went to. And so that's what we're going to play out with today, isn't it?
Out on the floor.
Dan's version.
Chase our eyes.